What's up guys, welcome back to Curious Chaos. You guys can call me Crimson, and I recently was invited by Happy Gamer Nick to be one of the 151 artists that will create a Fakemon for the ultimate fan region, the Collabo Region. Each and every Pokemon of the region will be tackled on by an individual talented artist with their own style and creative liberties. This means that every single Pokemon will be completely unique from one another. For example, if someone makes a starter Pokemon, another artist would make the middle stage, and someone else apart from them would create their take on the final stage. Not only will this make for a super creative region, but also it's just a fun way to meet and collaborate with more content creators and artists, and a fun region for viewers to watch unfold. So thank you Nick for the opportunity. Now, for this region, there were a lot of prompts to choose from that Nick had set up for us, with the only information provided being a vague role it plays in the region so that we'd have a lot of room for interpretation, and finally its typings. The one that immediately caught my eye was labeled Cosmic Creature. I'm sure you could guess why. So as the space region man himself, I felt like it was mandatory for me to represent the space Pokemon of the Collabo region. In most regions when making a Fakemon, an overall theme your Fakemon will share with the rest of your decks is something that ties them back to what the region is based on. So for example, if your region is based on Japan, a lot of the Fakemon will share history, folklore, and culture with Japan. In my space region, all my Fakemon are inspired by aliens, science, and the history of outer space. But in Collabo, there is no overall theme, no location to base it on, no history, just one region and a bunch of collaborating artists. So for the Cosmic Creature prompt I selected, I chose the only theme I felt would accurately integrate this Fakemon into this region. And that was to base it on some sort of celestial body that represents, you guessed it, collaboration. This was pretty easy since most stars, nebulae, and constellations have some sort of spiritual or symbolic meaning behind them. I came across Pleiades, also known as the Seven Sister Star Cluster. This star cluster, as the name suggests, is made up of 7 bright blue stars that in many cultures symbolize teamwork and unity, especially in Japan, where Pleiades has been an important part of their culture, being referenced in various works of literature, art, and folklore, where it's often depicted as a symbol of unity. You might even recognize the brand and logo of Subaru, which is what the Pleiades is called in Japan, and also the Japanese word for unite, which is a perfect concept to represent all of the artists that are uniting to create the Collabo region. Now, something I haven't mentioned is that between the Pleiades stars resides something called the Reflection Nebula. And as you can probably already tell, I really leaned the design into that name, turning this into a small handheld mirror that also creates a perfect connection to the typing that was assigned to this prompt, that being the fairy type. One thing I was struggling with was getting this guy to look the part of a fairy type, but I didn't want to use the color pink to accomplish this, although I do end up using pink for this shiny. So how did I accomplish it? Well, visually at least, it doesn't look much like a fairy type as much as it does maybe psychic. So I decided that rather than visually making it fairy, conceptually I could tie its mirror lore into the fairy tale of Mirror Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all. Meet Vanides, the reflection Pokemon, from Pleiades and Vanity. Very few trainers have had the chance to tell the legend of the visit of a Vanides, stating that at low moments in life, Vanides will invite you to look through its reflection to reveal to you your purpose in the universe. As I've mentioned, it is mono fairy type, and its 2 regular abilities are Co-Star, which was a new ability introduced with Flamigo and Paldea, that copies the ability of an ally when entering the battle. I thought this made sense since, first of all, Co-Star, and also because it mirrors your ally's abilities. Its next ability is Dazzling. Vanities dazzles its opponents with its stars, making them unable to use priority moves against itself or its allies. And for its hidden ability, it has Serene Grace, which raises the likelihood of additional effects occurring when the Pokemon uses its moves. I think this Pokemon would be great to use in double battles, solely because of the fact that it's a mirror and it needs an ally to hold it to reflect itself. Vanities also only really likes to use its reflection for good purposes to help friends, since it's a wise and humble-spirited fairy. One of the reasons why it would rather de-escalate things than resort to fighting. But if it needs to get down and dirty, a lot of its abilities favor its allies. Its shiny is extremely beautiful with a pink galaxy, surrounded by a shiny gold trim and white tassels, which I feel makes it fit the fairy typing a bit more and gives it a very heavenly elegant vibe. Now for the fun part. I will not be designing the evolution for this guy. That task will go to another talented artist who will create their take on an Evo based on what you've all heard from Vanities today. For the most part, I don't really have any wishes on what the next artist will do with the design. I'm just excited to see what they come up with. but I do ask that they keep the 7-star cluster somewhere present in the design. Like how in my design there are only 7 stars, 3 in the reflection and 4 engraved on the edges. But they can insert the 7 stars wherever and however they'd like, just as long as they're there, since I still want Pleiades, the collaboration stars, to be an overall theme to the Pokemon. Other than that, go crazy on your design. I'm super excited to see what Vanides evolves into. What are your thoughts on Vanides? I originally was going to design this Pokemon exclusively for the Collabo region, with no thoughts on adding it to Revlar, but Nick pointed out that we could use these designs in our own projects as they are our designs, and I thought, might as well, it's got everything it needs to fit in Revlar anyway. So there you go. The only problem is, I'm not sure if I would include it somewhere on an open space route or on the fairy planet. So let me know where should be its home and whether or not you'd add it to your team. I'll also update you all on who creates the next design and who will be the Evo to Vanides. Thank you for staying this long into the video, and please keep an eye out for all the videos that will release for the Collabo region. I ask that you check out as many artists as you can that appear in the Collabo videos, as each one of them are extremely talented and will not disappoint. Alright, that's all from me guys. Until next time.